Hey everybody, welcome back to Absolutely Marvel and DC. I'm Dylan, that is Sal, and we're talking about Eternals some more. This time we're going to mine into the mid and post-credit scenes of the movie. There were two pretty impactful ones, ones that made me real annoyed, but Sal, I think, is excited about them.
They're interesting. Here's the thing.
They're interesting, for sure.
This might as well be called AKA the stuff about Eternals you care about, because here it is.
The stuff that will affect, like, aside from the end of the movie, which I think we should also talk about in here, because it kind of ties into, like, the MCU going forward, which is all of this.
Right.
I think whenever, like, they played, like a pre-roll thing before the trailers even started, and there was a clip where Kevin Feige was like, of course he says this about every movie, but he was like, Eternals is going to change the everything about the MCU going forward.
Marvel Universe, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the end of the movie and these two scenes are what he was talking about.
Totally.
If you haven't seen them and you're watching this video and you want them spoiled real quick, well, first of all, the end of the movie, Arishem, big red celestial, claims that he's going to come back and mess everybody up on Earth.
Yep.
And then in the mid-credit scene on the Eternals ship, Harry Styles shows up as Star Fox, brother of Thanos.
And don't discount Patton Oswalt as fully
Pip.
CG character Pip the frickin' Troll.
Yes.
In one of the most lazy casting decisions of the 21st century. They made Patton Oswalt Pip the Troll, and Pip the Troll is the worst-looking CG of the film. Thankfully, it's a post-credit scene, doesn't really have anything to do with the narrative of Eternals from beginning to end, but he does look like Jar Jar Binks. It is awful. I was embarrassed for them. Pip the Troll is one of those characters that, like, is just a guy. If they made the Chronicles of Narnia movie, what was it, 15 years ago, and Mr. Tumnus looks better than Pip the Troll, you did something wrong.
Yeah. It is a weird decision to make. I will counter, though, with CG. I think when they put Gilgamesh, when Sprite cast that illusion on Gilgamesh and made him look like a baby, that looked horrible.
that looked stupid. I didn't think it looked bad in terms of CG. I just thought it was dumb. I was like, this is not a joke.
Like, in comparison to the last time I can remember, or just, like, any time Spider-Man showed up in Civil War, or any scene with the suits, with the time travel suits in Endgame, where you had to be told that was CG. It's like, okay, this is clearly, like, they didn't make this decision until a week before the movie shipped on what he would be wearing.
Right.
But we're not here to talk about that.
Yeah.
But before we dive really into the mid-credits, post-credits, Kit Harington's character is revealed to be the Black Knight, and then I guess Blade,
which we knew,
says something to him.
Yes, it's definitely Blade. Kit Harington was playing Dane DeHaan in the movie, and he alludes to having an uncle he doesn't like, who was the original Black Knight, who was a bad guy, and then bequeaths the identity to him, and then he turns it and owns it, becomes good guy Black Knight. They allude to it a lot in that movie, just like every time you see him, and they're like, he's gonna be Black Knight, and then they have the audacity in the, like, narrative outside the movie of all the, like, trades and interviews where they're like, we don't even know. Like, I remember Kevin Feige said, there's a quote of his that just said, the Ebony Blade will not appear in this movie. And I'm like, you just lied. Or he's like, well, because it's a mid-credit scene, it did not.
It's not in the movie.
It's not in the movie. But yeah, no, it is. He just picks it up and he's like, here it is, and he's gonna go get it. He's gonna touch it, and then an unseen voice from behind him basically says, you sure you want to do that, or something like that? I don't remember. But like, it was a cool scene because it's clearly Blade. And I remember in the theater, people were like, whoa, because they didn't show you who it was. And the guy next to my wife was like, who was that? And the guy he was with said something just wrong. Like Uatu. Like, he's like, it was the Watcher. And Tiffany just goes, it was Blade. And he goes, oh, I hope it is Blade. That'd be awesome. And I'm like, well, that was Mahershala Ali's voice.
Right.
So it's Blade. Plus, if you ever read the critical darling Captain Britain in the MI-13, Black Knight and Blade are in that book on a team. So that's the team they're making?
Yeah, I don't...
What?
Now there's like 4 different directions the MCU is going in. I don't know what
they're just
doing.
going in their own directions. I think like Loki creating the multiverse is just kind of like, look at all those branching timelines. That's metaphorical for all the branching storylines that are never going to converge. We're going to cherry pick them all in Secret Wars. And we're just going to be like, you, and you, and you, and you. And you're not going to do anything with your original stories. You're going to fight Doctor Doom. Is that like a... I guess the post-credits could just be seen as, it's a teaser for Blade, just the movie Blade, not like an entire other thing, which is weird in and of itself. Well, they announced Blade during the announcement for Phase 4. They're like, in Phase 5, by the way, Blade.
Yeah, that's way...
That's like 3 years!
Right. But I think... So, I think the biggest thing, like, aside from the post-credits and mid-credits, is the ending of the movie with Arishem... basically taking the role of Galactus, sort of, which makes me upset.
That shot of him like, oh, that Galactus shot. I was like, damn. I was like, oh no, like we just saw it, and
I want that to be Galactus.
Well, I think that's the plan. Like my Tiffany was like, so you think they're gonna make Galactus an Eternal now? Because like they made Ego an Eternal and he ain't an Eternal, so or not Eternal, a Celestial. Like
Celestial, okay.
I guess they're gonna make Galactus a Celestial, and he'll
it would make sense because there was a lot of exposition in the movie about how Celestials come from collections of old stuff. Like they were here, they've always been here, and like that's kind of Galactus's whole thing. So that would make sense. I would be more okay if they just make Galactus a Celestial and we still get Galactus.
I think we are. I think that's the plan.
Yeah, I hope so.
Here's the thing. There was a moment in the last Fantastic Four story where there's like phony baloney galactic council of creatures decides that Earth needs to die. So they send a character that has never appeared before or since called the Adjudicator. And he shows up and he like passes judgment on the human race. And that's a out-of-continuity story made by Stan Lee. And it's so easy to just go, so yeah, our Galactus is a storm that rolls through the galaxy. He's impassioned. He's dispassionate. He's impartial. He hungers. That is what he is. That's what he does. He eats planets. And if he comes by you, you're effed. But he doesn't. But it's not personal. In this case, I can imagine them being like, no, Galactus is our adjudicator. We send Galactus to consume your planet. I could see them doing that. I hope they don't. I hope it's something like that, but like, or maybe Galactus like goes rogue and kills all the Celestials, and he's like, "I'm the last one, and I hunger."
Sure, that'd be cool.
Whatever they want to do, but like that shot of that Celestial in front of that Earth, I was like, "That's the shot. That's Galactus." Like, that's the shot you need to put in the MCU, and they already did it with Arishem.
Yeah, like, with Red Celestial, nobody cares about.
Yeah, but. There is a precedent for Celestials in the MCU being big, omniscient beings, or omnipotent beings that have power they can bestow upon a smaller vessel like a Silver Surfer. So we could it can still work.
Yeah, I think there are definitely I mean you could salvage anything. You could in the next Eternals movie. That's probably not going to happen.
Never going to happen.
No. And the next time we see these characters, you could easily just have Galactus show up and punch Arishem and be like, it's me now. Or they turn Arishem into Galactus somehow.
Right. Yeah. But in this post-credit scene, the Eternals are on their way. The idea is like, I actually liked it how at the end of the movie, like, spoilers for the end of Eternals, they're like, we won and no consequences.
You've been alive for so long. What do you mean no consequences?
And then Arishem's like, no. They're like,
you idiots.
And then you idiots. What are you talking about? I see everything. But then the Eternals, like a couple of Eternals, go on a mission to go get the Eternals back. And they bump into Pip the Troll and Star Fox.
Yes.
Which was a moment that like the audience in my theater was like, no way.
Man, your theater was way better than mine.
They could not believe it.
Nobody knew what the hell was going on in my theater.
That's the thing for me. I was like, do you guys know who Eros is? Like, Tiffany was really excited because she was like, that's all, because she loved the idea that Thanos is a deviant, and she was like really disappointed that by what they did with the deviants in the Eternals, but still kind of, she was like, it works for the narrative, but like it's too bad because like it doesn't really tie Thanos in. But then they go, oh no, here's Eros, and he's brother of Thanos. And I'm like, but no, okay, Thanos is an Eternal now, and it's like wait, what?
That was something that God, I wish that they had played with in the movie, because like one of the things that I really liked was sort of the underlying subtext of like guilt and they've been here for so long and they haven't interfered. Like Druig's whole thing I loved.
Right.
And like the revelation, I mean there's a lot of revelations in this movie, but if there was a revelation that like, oh shit, Thanos was a deviant, and our one thing is that we're not allowed to intervene unless there's a deviant involved, and they learn that after all that shit happened, they'd be like, oh no!
Oh, we're frauds.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been dope. And you know what? But I do like the idea that, like, and I wish it had been, like you said, like I wish it was explored, because it would have been really cool to be like, oh, well, or Thanos is an Eternal.
Yeah, one of the two. Just tie it in better.
I think, I mean, he is now because Eros is here, and he's brother of Thanos, and we're not going to mess around with that. So here you go. Like, and what's really blowing my mind is like, we know that they can bring the Eternals back. We know they have the machine. Does that mean they can bring Thanos back?
We're done with him. Please.
I know we're done with him, but they could.
That's the thing, is like you know that was my, because I groaned like 3 times when this credit scene happened, and divorced from it a little bit, I kind of like it more just because of the ridiculousness of it, which I think is what they were going for. I love
how unapologetic it is. It's like, here's Pip, it's just the goddamn troll.
Like, here's Pip the troll and Harry Styles in a spacesuit. Huh?
Yeah, but that's right. We got Harry Styles and we cast him as friggin' Star Fox.
Star Fox. Nobody in my theater, I guarantee you, except for me, knows who Star Fox is.
No, I loved it. When he says brother of Thanos, my wife and I were like, oh, like everyone in the theater is like, no. Now, maybe they were just hyped to see Harry Styles. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, I think that's why they cast Harry Styles, because it's like, if they don't know who Star Fox is, they'll know who the hell Harry Styles is. But I don't like the direction this takes the MCU of, like, you know, the what ifs of, oh, they could bring Thanos back, or oh, like, there was a split second when he was shrouded in mystery and Pip was talking about how this character was related to Thanos. I was like, are they doing Thane?
Oh, see, I thought they were going to reveal Adam Warlock.
Yeah, but that James Gunn has a stranglehold on Adam Warlock.
Well, I thought they were going to be like, no, this takes place after Guardians 3. And it's like, this is what happens to Adam Warlock afterwards. But because they were like, oh, we're picking the Infinity Watch. But thankfully, no. Instead, it's Star Fox, and they're going to be like going on a crazy Eternals quest in space. Listen, the implications of this are nebulous at best. We have no idea what this means. If they're ever going to put Pip the Troll on anything again, if Harry Styles only has like a post-credit scene contract, you know, the fallout of Eternals being a bomb. And when I say bomb, I mean like critically, but I'm sure financially as well.
Financially, to a degree, it's not doing well so far.
There you have it. But I'm just kind of like, wow, they could could build up so much, like the next big thing, because James Gunn's leaving right after Guardians 3. That's it. Whatever James Gunn does with the Guardians, you know, like with Gamora having already died and being a new Gamora. You could have Gamora like as her comic book version now in the MCU running around.
That's true. That'd be cool.
What I'm basically saying is you could have Annihilation.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is that you could do Annihilation finally.
You know, like that gets me so excited. I really that's so cool.
Because you can use Annihilus. Peter Quill doesn't have to die. You could have Gamora in there. You could have Richard Rider finally.
Especially after playing, like, I'm not done with it yet, but playing most of the Guardians of the Galaxy game, like, oh, please give me that.
What an incredible game.
Yeah. it's like I want to go back to like now that we're talking about like the future that this catalyzes, like the right now we have, at least what I'm tracking, we have the stuff that Julia Louis-Dreyfus is doing, like that's one thing. We've got whatever the Avengers are up to.
Stuff.
Yeah,
nothing. The Avengers are up to nothing. Like literally, the only thing we know about the Avengers, the only Avenger we have, the only Avenger we have is Sam. Right? Like we don't even know if Winter Soldier's going to show up.
We've got the Shang-Chi post-credit scene.
That's right. We got really weird. We got really old-looking Bruce Banner. We've got Captain Marvel, and we've got Shang-Chi and Sam Wilson Cap and maybe Winter Soldier doing whatever the hell they're doing.
Right. Like that's
the beacon.
Something that's being set up.
The beacon in the Shang-Chi. Right. The beacon.
Mm-hmm. And there's also the still unresolved thing of Nick Fury doing something with the Skrulls in space.
Yep.
Like,
I mean, I think in the Marvels. You
probably could condense all of this into the classic Earth-based like ground level and space stuff, but
Civil War Annihilation. That's what you do.
Yeah, exactly. And it's I think they're gonna have to jump through a lot of hoops, and it's gonna take a lot of time for that to coalesce.
You have a lot of faith in these people. I have no way. I don't think it has to take any time at all. Because Avengers, like remember when? Because they set up like Hulk, like Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America. That was it. And they make Avengers, and they're like like literally, there's a character. Like I think Coulson shows up and goes, never mind that right now. Like all the stuff they were building towards, like all the weird. Why do they do that in Iron Man 2? Where it's like, oh, yeah, we don't want you in the Avengers. And then at the end, and then in Avengers, Coulson shows up. He's like, okay, well, you're in the Avengers. He's like, I thought I wasn't in the Avengers. Yeah, shut up. Who cares about that? We're making an Avengers movie right now. Like, I think they could easily, in the first 3 minutes, be like, Sam, you're in. Carol, you're in. What's her name? Kate, you're in.
The problem I'm having is like the threads that we have for the future are like they seem so far different from each other.
Oh, they're frayed. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's like they can just like they could connect like the beacon that's coming from Shang-Chi's bracelets.
Is Galactus?
You know what? I'll call it right
yeah.
now. That's the Eternals. It's their ship calling out to more Eternals. That's what that is.
There you go.
It could be any number of things, but they're being very vague about a lot of this stuff, and it's just like
deliberately
with every look into the future, I'm like, what are they doing?
They don't know either. I promise you, they have no idea. I mean, look at we didn't even mention the multiverse of madness. Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, what they're doing. Like, what? What about the breakout success of characters from What If? Like, what about Uatu? What about White Vision? Where's he gonna show up? Like,
oh, true. He just flew away at the end of that season.
Flew the hell away. Hasn't shown up in anything.
Yep. Anyway. And I hope that they do have. Like, I mean, they've done it before. I think it's just like right now there's no. And this is my concern. Going back to my concern about the Eternals and the status quo that this fix. Yeah, and Star Fox and everything is like the like thing that everyone was always thinking about throughout each MCU movie leading up to Endgame was at the end of the Avengers, they showed their hand. They said, here's Thanos, this is what we're doing. And now I feel like they did that again with Arishem as the Galactus of going forward. And I'm like, I don't want that.
No, I don't want a bigger Thanos, but I don't really get I get Arishem being like, oh, I'm going to come back. But it's like, yeah, but like by the time you get up off your ass, it'll be like 6,000 years from now. Like, I don't really...
It took you 2 weeks after like your buddy was murdered to hobble over to Earth. You're a Celestial. Why did it take you so long?
Yeah, exactly. No, I also don't necessarily believe that Thanos was the plan. I think that Joss Whedon just threw Thanos in there as a joke. And then they went, oh, yeah, we can do Thanos. Like, I don't think Thanos was a plan until after Avengers 1. Like, until after they went like, I'm sorry, did you put Thanos at the end of the Avengers movie?
Who greenlit this? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't think he didn't do it without permission, but I don't think that they were like, yeah, no, Thanos is the plan. I think they were like, it's just kind of fun to put Thanos at the end.
And I think
know.
like I totally agree to a degree that they are sort of flying by the seat of their pants, but at least with that, like it was a simpler thing to tie everything
Yes.
together, even if they didn't know where they were going with each movie, which I'm sure like there's entire channels dedicated to finding like, oh, this doesn't make sense.
Yes.
But like they did a good enough job and had a simple enough like tent pole to keep everything tied together. And now I
Right.
feel like they have 30 tent poles and it's a lot less clear. And maybe there's a whiteboard somewhere that solves all of these issues. But
I would like to think so.
yeah, I'm having a hard time believing that
Yeah.
at the current moment.
Oh no, I don't think you're. I think there is no plan. I think they're excited about it. I think they like that. I think they're like, yeah, there's no way we can put this together. There's no way we can do Endgame again. All right, yeah. Like, look at all the possibilities we have. Like, we could, and I could see Feige being like, no, I mean, like that's why we do that. Like, because if we put all our eggs in the Eternals basket, we'd be effed.
Right.
But now, like, Eternals just going in that direction and failed. Okay, well, that's a dead end. Look at these other 17 different directions. You guys seem to like that multiverse crap. We'll just tell Sam. We'll tell Raimi to shove more crap into the Doctor Strange movie, which we haven't finished filming yet.
Is the MCU like a YouTube channel now? Do they just like do shit?
Well,
until
whatever the
one of them
algorithm
works?
says. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever
Yeah,
gets the
I think that's
highest
what
Rotten
it's become.
Tomatoes score, we'll just do that for the next 10 years.
Right?
Okay.
Unless it's Spider-Man, and then they're like, uh-oh.
Oh shit. We
Oh,
gotta deal
crap,
with
we gotta make
Sony
friends
for the
with-
next decade. Ugh.
Hey,
God.
Amy. Yeah. Let's pretend like you didn't. Oh, yeah. Anyway. So, I don't know. I thought both those post-credit scenes were fun, but also, like, yeah, going in directions that, as a comic book fan, if you had told me, like, little me reading a Wizard magazine, hey, they're going to do a team with Black Knight and Blade, and they're going to do another movie with Star Fox, Pip the Troll, and the Eternals in a Marvel movies. And I've been like, wow, what is DC up to? Like, there's no way I would have been interested in that.
No.
But, like, I liked Eternals, and so I'm like, I guess I trust you to make cool stories and get me interested.
Yeah. And that's
As long as you do Annihilation, I'm like, yes.
yeah, I mean, if that's where this is leading, that puts a very different perspective on this for me.
Here's a quick theory, by the way. They can't do there's been rumors they're doing World War Hulk, and it's like, you can't do World War Hulk. But you like, I remember hearing rumors about Planet Hulk, and I'm like, that's just Thor 3.
Yeah, they already did that.
What if they put Hulk in Annihilation?
That'd be cool. Send him
Right?
back into space. That'd be neat.
Yes, and I'm back into space for something else.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk turns Annihilus inside out.
Oh, that's a cool scene. I just pictured that. That's awesome. Man, there's so many things they can do.
I know. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm hyped for Blade. I can't believe they're making a friggin' vampire movie. But here's the thing. Another theory, I think Blade isn't going to be like Blade. It's not going to be Bloodbath. It's not going to be like Baron and
no, it's an
leather
MCU
jackets
movie.
and swords. No, it's going to be, I think it's going to be like Captain friggin' Britain in the MI-13. It's going to be like Blade's like, man, I got to join this stupid team with these crazy characters and fight Dracula, who like is making vampire missiles, and he's a character in the Marvel Universe.
What if they do Strike Force? They could do Strike
Oh.
Force. I'd love that.
Yeah, I'll take Strike Force.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
Sure. There's a lot of kooky characters in that. They got dark elves in the MCU. They could figure that out. Anyway,
I don't know if they want to remind people about dark elves.
That's fair. Well, they're different. They looked funny. The Verdai are weird. They're cool looking dark elves.
All right.
Anyway, that's our talks on the future of the MCU post Eternals.
There you have it. Yeah, post Eternals. It's a weird,
Maybe-
wild, wacky world.
In like a couple weeks, Hawkeye comes out, so maybe that'll change everything again. We'll see.
I
doubt
guarantee
it.
it doesn't.
Yep.
The only thing it'll change is you'll have a way more agreeable Hawkeye on your team.
Yeah. And we'll probably get to learn more about the street level stuff that's happening. Maybe
I
Whitefish
don't have
will
any
show up.
confidence
Who
in that. No way.
Anyway. This has been Absolutely Marvel in DC. I'm Dylan, that is Sal. Stay tuned to the channel for more content coming at you real soon.